All right, so we are officially good to go. Let's see. Just getting all this tech together, guys. Good evening. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Let me make sure that y'all, I probably should have gotten all this together before I went on air. But I wanted to make sure we got started in time and that we had an opportunity for everyone who was interested to come on in the room. All right. Hey, hey, hey. What? Okay, there we go. All right, so we're good to go. So I think we're good. So it's a lot of prep because right now we're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, and we're also live on LinkedIn and YouTube. And I wanted to make sure that I have my mics on. So I have my mic right here, my mics right here for Insta, and my mic right here for YouTube. So we kind of got a lot going on tonight, but I'm excited. I'm excited about tonight's topic, and kudos to you all for showing up. Let's go ahead and get this recording started. Recording in progress. Kudos to you all for showing up on a Saturday, especially if you have made the time to come and join us every single day of this challenge. We had the kickoff on last Sunday. Then on Monday, our first session was about the mindset of the published and paid author. Session 2 was all about the author's code of confidence. Session 3, which was Wednesday, we had a double header where I talked about in the early morning session, we talked about how to overcome writer's block and how to get off of the block and how to actually overcome writer's block and some strategies and things that you could implement to do that. And then Wednesday evening, we had a private training, right? On Thursday, that's when we started making the shift into how to actually leverage your book to grow your business. So we talked about the ways in which you could do that and how to actually revenue map your business out. So once you wanted to hit 6 figures in your business, make your first $100,000 or add an additional stream or add $100,000 to your business bottom line, how to actually do that and what that actually needed to look like. And then on yesterday, we talked about casting your vision. So we talked about the importance of time management. We talked about the importance of making space, but not just the importance of how to of doing that. We talked about how to do it. We talked about how to overcome the overwhelm of writing a book and actually creating a project management system to help you do it effectively and efficiently, right? So that you could actually accomplish the goal that you set out to accomplish. Because 80% of people want to write a book, but about 2% of the people who want to do it actually finish it, actually move forward to make it a reality. And tonight is a bonus session. So tonight is bonus session 6 of the published and paid 5-day challenge. And tonight is all about how to use your book to start your speaking career. I want to be very clear, start, because I know that we already may have some consultants in the room. Some of you all may already be speaking, but when you want to build a brand as a speaker and when you want to get paid to speak, there's some things that you can do in terms of leveraging your book to do that. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So tonight is the first night of this challenge that I've actually tuned in via Instagram. We've primarily been in the Facebook group, on Zoom, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. But I do have an audience that I love on Instagram. So I said, you know what? I got a lot of speakers on Instagram or people who want to kick off their speaking career on Instagram. And so I thought that this information would be great to share. However, if you're on Instagram, this live will not stay up. This training will not stay up. All right. So if you're in the Facebook group for the challenge, you all will have access to this replay until tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. All right. So for those of you all who are new to me, my name is Jasmine Womack. I'm the CEO of the Impact Group, which is a writing consultant and digital business growth company. where we help leaders and entrepreneurs transform their $1 million message into a best-selling book. And then once you've published your book, we help publish authors, published subject matter authors. Let me be very specific there. Generate 6 figures or more by transforming your book into digital courses and coaching programs. And so I am blessed to be here tonight. It's an honor to serve you, and I am glad that you all are with me. So if you would like to join our text list and to continue getting updates, we're going to be doing some different things with our text list after this challenge is over. You can text hashtag booked, hashtag BOOKED to 404-341-4340. Once again, if you'd like to join our text list, you can text hashtag booked to 404-341-4340. Once you text hashtag booked to the number that I provided, you will receive a prompt. Once you complete that prompt in that form, then you will be added to the list, and you'll receive any other messages that we have scheduled to go out to you all. So with that being said, I'm super excited, and let's go ahead and get started. So for those of you all who joined us yesterday, what were some of your takeaways from yesterday's session? Yesterday, we talked about casting the vision. We talked about how to bring your goal of writing a book into reality. We talked about how to project manage your book. We talked about time management strategies, how to stay committed to the goal when life happens and when things happen, to test your commitment. Penny says, respecting God enough to stay motivated. Oh, that was a good one. Samantha says, turning your book into a signature speech. Yes. Ruby says, believing in yourself and trusting the process. Thanks, Coach Tanya, on chiming in on the social media platforms. Andrea said, rewarding yourself. Cornelia said, 3 streams of income. Ruby said, believing in yourself and trusting the process. Francis says, setting a completion date. Yes, putting a solid completion date on the calendar. Avril said, broke is a state of mind. It is. It is. Because it's one thing to say, I don't have the money. And it's another thing to say, let me figure out what I can do to get the money. You might not have the finances, but it's a state of mind. I don't have the money versus let me see what tools do I have in my arsenal? What skills can I sell for a rate to get what I need to get? If I already have a book, how can I sell my book and generate income to get what I need to get instead of just saying I don't have it? Being solution oriented instead of being problem focused. Broke is a state of mind. Nesta says, celebrating milestones. Leslie says, treating your book as a project. Manage it like a business. LaJuan says, you have to think outside the box, because the truth of the matter is if someone fell ill, you would move heaven and earth to figure out what you need to do to get the treatments they needed. Whether it was you, whether it was a child, it's the truth. When we want something so bad, when we want something extremely bad, we're going to figure out what we can do to make it happen. When we don't really want it, we'll say, well, I don't have it. I can just wait till later. It's the truth. It is the truth. When we really want something to happen, we go figure out how we can make it happen. We put our minds together. We start talking to people. We start coming up with strategies and solutions. But when if it's not a priority, we just say, listen, well, I don't have it, and this is what it is. I'm not going to even try to get it. And it's the truth. Right? So going back to some of your takeaways from yesterday, Leslie says, treat your book as a project and manage it like a business. Absolutely. All right, guys. So I want to make sure that we use our time wisely tonight. We are on bonus session 6 for the Published and Paid Challenge. So as always, before we begin, I want to take a moment of silence For those of you all who would like to join me in prayer, if that's really not your cup of tea, take a moment of silence to set your intention. You might have been like me, running all around all day, doing this, doing that, right? But now we have to settle our minds. We have to settle our spirits and become focused in our spirits. So now it's time to have a moment of silence, to set your intention, to determine what you want to get out of tonight's session. So we're going to pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. I thank you for this day. I thank you for all that you've given me. I thank you for all that you've done, all that you're doing, all that you continue to do. I thank you for enlarging my territory and allowing my voice to spread all over the world with the message that you told me to spread. I pray for each and every one of these authors, speakers, and coaches who are on this live, who couldn't make it but are here in spirit. And I ask that you speak through me and allow me to impart a word of wisdom that will change the trajectory of their lives and businesses. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. All right. I'm looking back in the chat. Penny says, I found the money to join today. It was vital to me. Let me tell you, it's when you invest in yourself, a lot of us, we look at what we don't have, right? Or how maybe we should wait. But I want you to start thinking about what it looks like to make a one-time investment in something and get a lifetime of return. A one-time investment to get a lifetime of return. Because really that's what it is. You get skills that you didn't have before. You get knowledge that you didn't have before. You get a product that you didn't have before that you couldn't complete on your own. You learn sales skills and sales strategies that you didn't have before. You can never go back to the person that you were because your territory has enlarged and been expanded. All right. So tonight is all about how to use your book to start your speaking career. That's what we're talking about tonight. And I think that this will be extremely helpful for those of you all who want to speak more. You're trying to figure out how to put yourselves out there, what you can do. All right. So when my first book came out, which was 20 Pearls of Wisdom, A Woman's Guide to Self-Preservation, I have been very honest. I didn't really have an audience outside of my friends and family and co-workers. That particular book was definitely not any type of best-selling book. It didn't rank on Amazon at all. However, I was able to generate money. We made, I think I made like maybe anywhere from $500 to $500 to $1,000, like within the first 2 to 3 days of actually releasing the book. Throughout the whole entire launch process, by the time I had my book release party, we had generated anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 from that book. And I've also shared with you on Thursday how I was able to turn that book into $125,000 in revenue within 18 months. And how that was a foundation for what is now a 7-figure business, right? But one of the things that happened when I wrote my first book is that I was promoting it strongly. A day didn't go by where I didn't talk about the book. A day didn't go by where I didn't share information about the book. And one of the things that really helped me and helped the momentum of sales is that I began to tag people and share pictures of people who bought the book. So if somebody bought the book and I was Facebook friends with them, or they followed me on Instagram, I would put a post out shouting them out and tagging them. And this helped other people to see that people were buying the book, and it actually started building momentum and creating FOMO, which is fear of missing out. Thank you, Avril, for putting the link to the program and to the program in the chat. And I immediately began to get speaking engagements because of the way that I was promoting the book, the amount of people that were purchasing the book. And to the outside looking in, It's like every other minute I was tagging someone or posting someone and thanking them. Excuse me. And that helped to build up momentum in the online space. Now, because people saw people buying the book, because I was literally tagging people and taking pictures with people who bought the book and all those type of things, people started reaching out to ask me to speak on certain topics. All right. Prior to that, I didn't have any type of formal speaking training. Now, up to this point in my career, I have formal speaking training and speaking experience. But back then, I didn't have any formal speaking training. But you don't know who's on your who's in your network, and you don't know the people that they know. And so, because I was sharing the book, because I was putting out content related to the book, and because I was putting out posts related to the topics that I talked about in my book, it started piquing the interest of people who were hosting events around those topics. And they started reaching out to me. People started referring me to say, hey, well, this person, Jasmine, she wrote a book on, you know, life advice for women post college. She wrote a book about where she talks about relationships. She wrote a book about where she talks about networking and these types of things. And so people started asking me to come in and speak. Now, what happened is that as I began to speak, I also had learned that one of the key things that I needed to do was to get the footage all the time. I didn't have the resources at the time for a professional videographer and all the things. So me getting footage was investing in a better cell phone, getting a tripod off of Amazon, setting it up in the room, connecting it to a mic, and recording myself. I had to connect to a mic so that my audio was clear. Like even now, I'm speaking virtually, but my audio on every single platform that I'm speaking on is extremely clear. I'm speaking into 3 mics for Facebook and Zoom, for Instagram right here, and for LinkedIn and YouTube. And what I would do is that I would take those videos and I would use an app called InShots, and I would just simply divide them up into anywhere from 15 to 30-second segments, and I started putting them out. Was it perfect? No. Did it look like I did it? Yes. But was it better than nothing? Absolutely. When you want speaking engagements, people need to see you speaking. And so my goal was to start sharing what I was doing as much as possible. This goes back to what we talked about. I think it might have been on session 3. You have to bring people along the journey and share what you're doing while you are doing it. So I realized early on in my career as an author that if I wanted to have success as an author, then I was going to have to get out and speak. I realized that if I wanted to have success as a coach and as a high ticket coach, like I've shared with you all, that my consulting programs range from $10,000 to $35,000. And so this is the academy is the entry point into Impact University programs. But I realized that if I wanted to have success as a coach, I was going to have to get out and speak. I was going to have to open my mouth. I was going to have to share my information. I was going to have to share my knowledge. And what I also learned during that time is that speaking is not limited to in-person on stages. Right now, even though I'm at home in the virtual space, I'm speaking. You can speak on camera. You turn your camera on and you can reach people literally all over the world. Like there's no limit to it. And like I shared, right now I'm live on three different platforms, over 100 people. And this is not limited to people who will come and watch the replays. This is not limited to people who are not live, but who will watch the replays later on. This is not limited to the people that y'all are going to tell. Does this make sense? And so let's talk about how to use your book to actually start your speaking career. Number one, you have to understand that just like your book is a business, speaking is a separate business as well. It is. It's a separate business because you're going to have your sales strategies to sell your books, your coaching programs, or your offers, but there are different sales strategies required to get booked to speak and paid to speak. So you got to look at it from the beginning. Speaking is a business. It's not just something that you're doing, it's a business. And even if you are speaking from home and you turn on your camera, that's an opportune way to not only hone your speaking skills, but you can monetize it too. People speak on YouTube all the time. You have the right video and it can go viral overnight. You have the right topic and it can go viral overnight. And this is the truth. You want to create one speech centered around your book when you want to speak in person. When you want to speak in person, it's a little bit different than speaking virtually, okay? So when you want to speak in person, you want to create one core speech centered around your book. Now, one of the mistakes that a lot of new speakers make is feeling like they have to create different speaking topics based on people requesting different speaking topics. They feel like they have to create different speaking topics based on who they're speaking to. No, create one core speech to present on in-person stages, not 3 topics, not 5 topics, just one. There is power in the one. There is power in the one. Because why? This is going to allow you an opportunity to perfect your speech. This is going to allow you an opportunity to hone in on your core points and change out the stories that you use in your speech based on who you're speaking to. Create one core speech centered around your book and make that your focus. Don't stress yourself out by feeling like you need to go create all these speaking topics, all these speaking presentations, and now you're trying to market all the things. No, create one and focus on the one. There's power in the one, right? The next thing you want to do is go back to what we talked about during session 2 of the Published and Paid Challenge. Identify who your targeted reader is. Who is your targeted reader for your book? You need to identify your reader by as many characteristics as you can. Are they young or old? Do they have children or no? Is your book for leaders? Is it for professionals? Is it for staff? Does the content in your book appeal to a specific industry or person or profession? Identify who your targeted reader is. This transfers over to speaking. It doesn't change. This is why having clarity on the basics is so important. Because if you identify who your targeted reader for your book is, you're targeting that same type of audience or that same audience for speaking. When you identify who your targeted reader is for your book, you're identifying or trying to reach those same type of clients, people to turn into clients for your coaching programs. So identify your targeted reader. Going back to session 2, this is what we talked about. Every day builds on the previous day. Go back to what we talked about. I think it was on session 3. Identify your book's power positioning statement. My book helps this person to do this so they can do that. And identify and clearly understand the problem that your book solves. Why does this matter? This matters because people aren't going to bring you in to speak just so that you can get on stage and shine and take notes and take pictures. People aren't going to bring you in to speak just because you want to speak. People are going to bring you in to speak because they have an audience that has a problem, and you have to position yourself as the person to solve that problem. This is why your book has to be solution oriented. This is why you have to be very clear with who you're writing to, because those same foundational elements that you have to make sure that you get clarity on when you're writing your book, it applies to building and starting your career in speaking. Does this make sense? There aren't different audiences. Everything builds on the previous thing. And this is why we can't just focus on writing a memoir or telling our personal stories. You have to give actionable strategies in your book. You have to know who, be very clear. The one person that you're talking to in your book, you have to be very clear on the problem that your book solves, because when you want to position yourself to speak, you have to find where those people are hanging out so that you can speak to those audiences. You have to find the organizations and the associations that those people are a part of so that you can go in and speak as the authority. You have to be very clear with the problem that your book solves so that you can go on stage and provide the solution in the form of a speech. It all goes back to the foundation. So identify your book's power positioning statement. We created those on Wednesday in the Published and Paid Challenge. Consider the problem that your book solves. Does your book help organizations run more productively? In your book, are you sharing with your readers how to help people find the joy and beauty in life? Are you teaching people strategies to redefine their life and recreate a new life after divorce? Like, what are you doing? What is the strategy? And so if you focus on the solution that you provide in your book, that is going to help you identify the right groups to go speak to. Does this make sense? And I hope it's all coming together why the work that we did during sessions 1, 2, and 3 is so important on the back end when you want to get paid, when you want to become published and paid. Everything is aligned. And I talked about this at my live event, Six Figure Storyteller Live. It's called author alignment. I call it author alignment. You get very clear on what you're writing about. And everything that you do branches off from that. And if you don't have this foundation right, it's going to be difficult for you to expand. Right? So once you identify the problem that your book solves, you have to consider where your reader is going to hear the messages, where your reader is going to find the solutions to the problem that you solve. You still have to do some market research. So just like you had to do some market research when you were writing your book, now you have to do some market research when you want to begin speaking, especially when you want to start speaking on social media, leveraging the online space. Who are your people already following? What podcasts are they listening to? What books are they reading? What communities? Are there membership communities that already have groups of your targeted audience? What communities are they a part of? You need to become familiar with this so that you can start building relationships so you can get in front of those people. It's easier to connect with people who already have groups, build relationships with them, and have them bring you into their group to speak, because the people are already they're going to automatically trust you because the person who they trust is vouching for you by bringing you in. So understand who they're already following, understand the podcast that they're listening to, and this is where you're going to have to start using social media for business media. Stop in the browsing and literally get into the comments and start listening to and paying attention to what the people are saying, what recommendations they're giving. Okay? Where's your reader going when they're looking for solutions? What associations are they a part of? Find those associations. Figure out what conferences they're attending. Figure out what meetings they're attending and go. And go. Yes, pay to go. This is going to give you an idea of the people that are there. This is going to give you an idea of the type of the topics that they're talking about. You need to go. A lot of us, we want expansion, but what one of my good friends, Dr. Shamika Dean, says, she always says, exposure comes before expansion. Exposure precedes expansion. You got to put yourself in the rooms. You need to go and see what's going on at the meetings, at the conferences, at these chapters, at these Chamber of Commerce breakfasts. You need to go. How can you pitch yourself or position yourself to go speak somewhere and you are unfamiliar with who's in the room? You're unfamiliar with what they do. You're unfamiliar with the language that they use. Now, when you want to start speaking, you got to understand that speaking is a long game. This isn't something where you will start today and go speak next week. If you're building from the ground up, if you already have some level of credibility and results under your belt, then you can build up to that. But when you are starting your speaking career, you're going to have to build, and it's a long game. So you can't, one of the things I find is that a lot of authors want to go speak, but they have no clue who's in the room. They have no clue what's talked about because they've never been. Like when I helped my live event, Six Figure Storyteller Live, the week of the event, I had so many people emailing, trying to pitch me to speak on my stage. I'm like, you don't know who I am. We have never had a conversation. I don't know who you are, what you do. You only want to get into my audience, the audience that I've built to benefit yourself. You're not telling me anything about how what you do can benefit me or my audience. It's a very selfish approach to just pitch people, and you have no relationship with them. You don't know what they do. You don't know who's in their audience. So I want you to think about this, because there are a lot of speaking coaches out there who would just coach you to pitch, and just send emails and send messages to people. But these folks don't know you. And I know how it feels because it's happened to me. People sending emails trying to speak at my live event where we had almost 200 people there. And yes, these were targeted people that they wanted to get in contact, that they wanted to get in front of because they had marketing agencies or ghostwriting agencies or whatever. But I'm like, I hadn't even had a conversation with you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. You just want to take advantage of the work that I've done to get the people in the room to benefit yourself. You have not shown me how this is going to benefit me or the people in the room at all. You're selfish. And you don't want people to think about you that way. And what happens is a lot of speakers just start randomly pitching people, and your email is going to the bottom of the bunch because you are reaching out to them for an ask, and they don't even know who you are. So become familiar, attend their meetings, attend their conferences, attend city-based chapters, attend their brunches and breakfasts. When you go, my introverts, this is where we got to start flexing the muscles, okay? When you want to do things you've never had, you have to begin to do things you have never done. You got to do some things that might be uncomfortable and scare you. We talk about this. You got to open up your mouth and speak. You got to start having conversations, okay? Meeting those key people, following up with connecting with those people offline. Okay. Send them a copy of your book. I'm going to bring someone on in a little while. This is exactly what she did. She sent someone a copy of her book. It took some time, but I'll let her tell the story. Send them a copy of your book and follow up with them. One of the easiest ways to get started speaking is to leverage your network. Leverage your network. This means that if you don't have a solid network, build one. Leverage your network. You might know people who are hosting events or who can bring you in this talk. You might know people who know people. But if you need to expand your network, you got to build one. It is intentional. You have to be intentional. And this is why communities like Published and Paid Academy are great. Y'all see Coach Tanya in the chat. If you're on Zoom, I met Coach Tanya in a membership community similar to Published and Paid. Coach Mike that's in the chat, I met him years ago, 8 years ago, in a community similar to what we're building, and we still rock together today. There are people that I met years ago in programs and in different communities that have opened doors for me, that have spoken my name in rooms when I was totally unaware. This is why it's important to expand your network. When you start doing something different and building your business, you're going to have to connect with new people. That doesn't mean that the people that you're already connected to, that you can't continue to be friends with them. You absolutely can, but you're going to have to get comfortable with meeting some new people, because speaking is very, very, very much relationship based. Very much relationship based. Very much relationship based. So you have to build relationships and be willing to put yourself in position to build relationships, right? Use the name of your book as the title for your talk. Remember, One Core Talk. Use the name of your book or the title of your book as the title for your talk. In the same way you create an outline for your book, and there's a specific way I teach you all to do it in the academy, you have to create an outline for your speech. Your outline typically needs 3 to 5 sections: your introduction, your body, and your closing. Your introduction, where you're going to open up your speech and engage your audience. You have probably about 3 seconds to engage them before you lose them. So it's always best to open up with a story, a powerful statistic, or a quote. The body of your speech, just like the body of your book, your chapters in your book, the body of your speech is where you are giving like 3 key points that you're teaching on, combined with storytelling to engage your audience, and then you close out your talk, and then you close out your speech. So yes, you have to outline your speech, and it's also best to write out your speech word for word and practice it every single day. Getting up in front of an audience and thinking that you're just going to deliver a speech off of your hip, and you haven't taken time to outline it, you don't really know what you're going to say, you haven't taken time to practice it, it is a recipe for disaster. One of the keys of speaking is that, yes, you want to get good speaking footage when you speak, but you also want people to bring you back, or you want them to refer you to someone else who may need your services. So you need to get comfortable practicing on a regular and consistent basis. And you can practice a different part of your speech every day. On Mondays, you spend 5 to 10 minutes practicing your introduction. On Tuesdays, you're practicing your first point and how you're explaining that. Wednesday, Thursday, you're practicing your second and third point and how you're explaining it. Fridays, you're practicing your closing and how you're going to hook your audience at the end. Every single day, you have to make time for this. Again, this is work. When you want to turn your book into a speaking career, you want to use your book to leverage and start a speaking career, it's work. A lot of people want to do it, A lot of people want to do it. And there are a lot of people doing a mediocre job. But when you want to do it and you want to do it well, these are the things that are required. All right. I think I may have already said this, but I'm going to repeat it. But you want to use the name of your book as your title for your talk. And if your book has not come out yet, you can say that I'm the author of the forthcoming book. If your book has not come out yet, that doesn't mean that you just sit and twiddle your thumbs and say, well, I'm still working on my book. No, you still need to be getting the podcast interviews. Oh, yes, I'm the author of the forthcoming book, such and such. Every time you step on stage, I'm the author of the forthcoming book, such and such. Every time you go on live, you let people know that it's coming out. This is accountability for them, for you. And it's also informing your audience that you have something coming out. And you can still sell pre-sales. You can still sell your book as long as you have somewhere for people to go buy the book, even before it's come out. Now, when you are speaking in a virtual space and you want to use social media to help grow and expand your speaking career, then the strategy is slightly different. Because this is where you can actually use the content in your book to create live stream topics. So say you want to go live once a week for 12 weeks. Literally go through your book, pull out gems out of each chapter, go through your book, turn each chapter into a mini video. Now you have a video series based off of the content in your book. All right. For those of you all who have not joined Published and Paid Success Academy, you can go to www.publishedandpaidacademy.com. One of the things that we keep getting questions about are the replays to the challenge. Well, guess what? For those of you all who join, you will get all the replays to this challenge. They'll be added to the portal by next week. And so, again, this is the lowest barrier to entry to work with us and to get the support while you are writing your book, growing your business or whatnot. Our consulting program started $10,000 and the prices are going up. So this is the lowest barrier to entry, and the price of this program is going up as well because you all still got access to the community. You have access to the coaching team. You're going to get access to not only the content in the academy, but these recordings as well. Right? So definitely, you don't have a $1,000 decision to make today. You got a $97 decision to make because that's all it takes to get started. And we won't be opening. We only open this, like I haven't opened the academy in 3 years. And so we're only going to be opening the academy once or twice per year. Okay. I want to make that very clear. And so the next time we open it, it will not be at the rate it is now, right? But for those of you all who want access to the recordings after tomorrow, because the recordings do expire at 11:59 p.m., you can get them in the academy. All right. Now I have a special guest that I want to bring on. And if you're on Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you all will not be able to see her face, but you'll be able to hear her. All right, I'm going to bring on Jennifer Dove. Jennifer, can you come on?
Hey, Jasmine, can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing?
I am good. How are you doing?
I am good. I am good. I am so excited you're here. How was your day?
You know, listen, I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 2 kids. It's almost Christmas, so you can imagine how my day was. Trying to finish the shopping, but it was good.
Yeah, I got to finish mine up after we finish up today. All right. Somebody on LinkedIn says when the official start date, you get access to it as soon as you begin. As soon as you enroll, Karen. All right. So Jennifer, I'm so excited that you're here. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, well, my name is Jennifer J. Dove. I am author of the book Ready for More. You see it here, you see it behind me. Ready for More, a woman's guide to becoming fearlessly authentic. So I help high achieving women create, develop, and execute an actionable plan that allows them to live a life of satisfaction, joy, and fulfillment. Because what we know a lot of times about any high achieving women, which I am a high achieving woman, very motivated to work hard and go up the career ladder. But the thing about that is there are so many women that are high achieving and are successful, but they are miserable.
Yes.
And they don't tell anybody. And so what I do is I help these women to find out what is going on with them, why they are miserable, and help them to create a plan to find a life of joy and fulfillment.
I love it. You better tell it, Jennifer. You better tell it. So Jennifer worked with us in one of our Impact University programs to write her book, and then she joined us in our advanced student community, where she is now consulting and doing all the things. So Jennifer, please tell us about your writing process and your transition from writing to coaching to speaking.
Oh gosh. So let me say this. I first started working with Jasmine in April of 2021. And I don't know, she just cannot get rid of me because I have learned so much. Like I said, I was a vice president in the nonprofit space. So I was really, really, on the career ladder, all about being a success in that manner. But I was miserable myself and I didn't know what was going on with me. And what happened was I was hospitalized and I had some time to think about what in the world am I doing with my life? Mm-hmm. So as I really had to reevaluate my life and get to a point of happiness and joy, because I was really living a fake life. Everybody on the outside thought everything was great. Everything was literally falling apart. I hated my job. My marriage was falling apart. I wasn't being a mom. I needed to be to my kids and I needed to get it together. And so I wanted to write a book about that, but I didn't know how to go about doing it. And so I followed Jasmine on Instagram like many of you all do. I caught her lives. Any free training that she did, I came and I said, you know what? I think this is a way to write my book. So at that time, she had the Arthur Made Easy Bootcamp. I joined the boot camp and I really got focused on the message that I wanted to share with women who were like me, because I knew there were more women like me. They just weren't talking about what it is to be a miserable success. So I wrote the book following what Jasmine and the coaches told me to do in 3 days. I published the book. Since then, the book came out in late July of 2021. Since that time, I have made almost $15,000 in book sales. And this is using the techniques that Jasmine and the team has taught me. My book is not even on Amazon. So when people talk about, putting your book on Amazon and everything, that's great. And I think that if you want to do that, you should. But if you know what to do and how to do it, it's not required. Since that time, I've stayed on with Jasmine and I have developed a coaching program, Aligned to Elevate. I have been able to work with 2 one-on-one clients who were fantastic. I have gotten a speaking engagement, and I heard Jasmine talking about it earlier. I don't know when she wants me to talk about how I was able to get the
Go ahead. Yeah, you can.
So after I wrote the book, I knew in a lot of my years in working with nonprofits, I had worked with a lot of low-income people, particularly low-income women. And what I found was there was a trend with all women, low income, high achieving, high income. Those women that knew who they were, if their voice, vision, and values aligned, they were able to live a happier life and to move away from trouble and strife faster. And so one of the things that I did for my network, I knew all of the local Department of Social Services. I knew who all of the directors were. So I sent them all a letter telling them how my book would be helpful for their clients. And I sent them a copy of my book. And I did this a year ago. So it was December of 2021. And I followed up and I heard nothing. A few weeks later, I followed up again. I called, emailed, let them know, hey, I sent you my book. I will be more, I want to talk to you about, this is how my book aligns with the work that you all are doing. I think it would be good. So calling secretaries, they're taking messages, all of those things. So in August of the following year, I get a phone call from one of the director's administrative assistants. And she's like, the director wants to talk to you about your book and how we might be able to use your book. So I'm like, what? Because at this point, look, I was on the verge of giving up. I'm not even going to lie. So talk to the director. The director was saying to me, I really think this book would be helpful for for our welfare clients. Do you have 100 books that we can order and I can give my clients? Y'all, I did not have 100 books, but I knew how to get 100 books in a couple of days. So I said, yes, I do. But not only that, I got a call back and she said, I have some money left over that we need to use for speaking opportunities, for training for the welfare clients. Do you think it's possible that for the next 6 months, you could just do a 45-minute virtual session once a month, the same session over and over again, and we could pay you about $500 for each session, so about $3,000. So I said, of course I can, because what I knew is for even though my focus is on high achieving women, I know that there are some core things with all women. And I know that to be ready for more, you have to be able to recognize, remove, and replace your limiting beliefs. So I made a 45-minute presentation on how to recognize, remove, and replace your limiting beliefs. And I do the same talk every month, and they pay me $3,000. And what that has led to for me, the employment services workers, the social workers who were on the calls with me, I have had 4 of them to register for my group coaching program starting in January.
Is this new news?
This is new news. I haven't even had a chance to share it with you.
This is what we were talking about the other day? Well, doggone it, congratulations. And what's the price point of your group program?
So I'm doing $3,500
per person.
So per person for group coaching program. So we're looking at $14,000 for those.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
You go. And how much is your one-on-one now, since you have the group?
$55.
Thank you. Jennifer, y'all, they come, I tell y'all, they move in silence and then they come on these calls and I'm finding out all this stuff.
And you know what, Jazz? It's just that I am so, like, my life is so right now. But I am so grateful.
I can't believe you didn't tell me. Well, congratulations to you on your $14,000 launch.
Thank you.
This is just the beginning.
Thank you so much.
This is just the beginning, and congratulations to you on increasing the rates and for your one-on-one. So I'm so happy. And here's the thing: with Jennifer, started with an idea, like many of you. She started with the idea. Let me ask you something, Jennifer. What do you think would have happened if you would have chosen not to move forward?
One, I think I still would have been in that realm of being a miserable success myself. But not only that, I think that if I had not moved forward with writing the book, moving on to the coaching program and everything, there are women out there who would have continued to suffer and thinking that they were by themselves. I thought I was by myself. I thought I was the only woman. Here I am. I got a master's degree. I have a great job. I'm a VP. I have been married for many, many years. I have 2 wonderful children. People would say to me, oh my gosh, I want to live a life like you. But I was miserable and I thought I was alone. So if I had not stepped out think about all of those women that I'm touching, that they might see a live that I do, that might be in my group coaching program, that know that they're not alone. And now they can get rid of that fear that was
Yes.
keeping them from making a step forward. So now they can have a life of fulfillment and a life of satisfaction. And they have no longer have to be concerned about being successful on the outside, but miserable on the inside.
Yes, yes, yes. So what would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining the academy? What would you say to them?
Well, one thing I would say is for you to ask yourself this question. What's going to happen if you don't join? Where are you going to be in December of 2023 if you don't join? Are you going to be where you are now? Mm-hmm. This is the thing. One of the things that I had to learn, which was very difficult for me, is I had to learn to humble myself and recognize that I don't know everything. I was a vice president. You couldn't tell me nothing. But what I found out was I needed help, because if I could have written a book, turned it into a coaching program, and got coaching clients and speaking engagements by myself, I would have done that. But guess what? I couldn't, because I didn't know what to do. And so when I got the plan of what to do, then it was just about executing. If you want to go to the next level, you have to do something different. You have to do something new. People are out there with the information that you need to go to the next level. You should take advantage of.
Excuse me. Yes. Yes, absolutely. And that was so good. That was so good. Well, tell everyone where they can, or somebody asked how much you sell your books for.
So my books are $25. I will put in the chat where you can get my book from, because like I said, it is not on Amazon. Maybe one day I'll put it on Amazon.
And can you let everyone know where we can find you, where we can get in contact with you on social media and your web? Will you put your website
here? I'm going to put my IG on here, and I'm going to put my Facebook on here. Please, please, please follow me, DM me, send me a DM if there's questions that you have or anything that you want to know about my book, my coaching program, any of that. So you all saw it, correct?
I'm going to repeat it because we have some viewers on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram that can't see the chat. So it's
okay. I will. My website is www.jennifer JenniferJDove.com. My Instagram is Jennifer J Dove. My Facebook is Jennifer Jeffreys, JEFFREYS Dove, DOVE.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And I'm going to hop in your DMs after this session. And congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So I see a couple questions coming through about the Academy. Question number 1 was, when does it start? You get immediate access to all the course content as soon as you enroll. You have a live coaching session with the coaches once a month, which is every third Wednesday. So our actual December coaching session is coming up, which you all will be onboarded, and you will also learn how to navigate the portal. And so you get access to everything. You do have support within the Facebook group in between the live Q&As where I'm in there. All the coaches are in there as well. Someone asked, what does the program focus on? I'm going to take a moment to share my screen. And so if you are on LinkedIn, you can, if you're on Zoom and Facebook, you can see it. But if you're on Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube, I'm just going to talk through it. So you have your welcome session. Module 1 is all about mindset, the best sales of a best-selling author. Then we get into the mechanics of learning how to share your story, understanding your right as a storyteller, legal permissions and protections, how you need to write your book, what you need to put in there, what type of information you might need to, rephrase in a different way, reposition in a different way. Module 3 is all about niching your topic. So this is where you actually begin planning so that you can write a book that targets a specific niche. You also understand how to position yourself as the authority that you are. You begin that author alignment so that you can align your book with the end goal, whether it's speaking, coaching, or training. You do that in the very beginning. Module 4 is all about research and relevance, the research that you need to do and conduct before you actually go write your book, different platforms that you can use to conduct research on. Module 5 is all about understanding the writing process. And it's not just an overview. I'm actually teaching you exactly what to do. So you get resources, you get the instructional video and the resources where I demonstrate everything and I explain it in detail. Planning your writing, drafting your book, the revision process, editing, and the publishing. And then module 6 is all about creating your 10-minute website or your author page for those of you all who need a platform which to sell your book. Then we go into module 7, which is publishing power, filing your copyright, registering your ISBN and barcode, editing your book, understanding how to find a qualified editor, how to vet them, questions to ask the editor before you hire someone. I think there may even be an editing contract or an editing agreement in there to make sure that you can protect yourself. The interior layout and design, so like how your book should look when it's layout, how it should typeset. I've got some resources in there for you. How to actually have a professional book cover design as well. Then we talk about proofing and printing your book, publishing your book on Amazon, proofing and printing it. Then we go into module 10, which is where we talk about marketing, promotions, and sales, branding, creating your brand, the messaging that you need to have, how to actually launch your book, the sales, how to sell your book, how to make your first $1,000 in book sales without paid ads, how to create the synopsis that sells for on the back of your book, a marketing PDF, creating your pre-order payment link. There's some more goodies in there for you. You have some bonuses here as well, such as the affirmations and playlists for authors, the productivity plan, customizable promotional templates, and a training from one of my speaking coaches, Dr. Jenna Dyson. She's donated a training right here, which is where she teaches how to amplify your voice. She is a 7-figure consultant, and she actually trains for major corporations. And in that training, she's telling you exactly the things that she's done to get started. So, and then of course, you'll get the replays of the Published and Paid challenge that we're going to put in there as well. And so, yes, all of the details are on publishedandpaidacademy.com. Karen, you'll have access to the course for 1 year. There are 12 live Q&A monthly sessions. And yes, you'll have access to everything that's in the portal. It's all in our course portal and platform. So once you enroll, you have access to everything for the entire year that you are enrolled in. The goal is for you to actually write and finish your book and build your brand and start monetizing so that you never have to say, well, I don't have the income. So that you never have to say, well, I can't do this or I can't do that. And for those of you all that's already coaching or consulting, so that you can add an additional stream of income to your revenue, and so that you can position yourself as the authority that you are. So you can go to www.publishedandpaidacademy.com. Christy, the monthly sessions are recorded and they stay in the Facebook group. We're trying to determine right now whether or not we're going to put those monthly sessions and pull them and put them in the portal as well. It just tends to get congested with a whole bunch of Q&As in the portal. But yes, you will have access to the monthly sessions. So what the monthly sessions will look like is that you will have the opportunity to submit any questions that you have, and then they'll be answered during those live monthly sessions. And so in the event that you cannot make the live session, you'll still be able to get your question answered as long as you watch the recording, and you have access to the recordings throughout your time in the program. Okay. All the resources are downloadable, so you keep them as well. Right? Violet says, I have a completed manuscript that is being edited now. Would this program still be for me? That's a great question. I don't know what type of manuscript you have, and I don't know if you had any guidance with it, and I don't know what your book is about. So it still goes down to having that additional guidance, strategy, and structure to make sure that you're writing a book that will get you paid. And what I find is that we have people, I was a strong writer, right? You have people that are strong writers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're writing a book or titling it in a way in which you will actually be able to market it and position yourself as an authority. So that's what Published and Paid is about. It's not so that you can just write your life story, right? And say that you have a book because you want to share your story. Because ultimately, as we can see now, especially after tonight's session, where we talked about how to use your book to start speaking, we know that just sharing your life story is not the type of book that's going to get you paid. It's not the type of book that's going to get you booked for speaking engagements or anything like that, right? So I would say that this is where you would have to do some self-assessment and look at what you've done, look at what we offer as along with what you've learned throughout this challenge. And if what you've learned throughout this challenge has been transformational for you, then that probably means that there's a lot more that you need to learn that you may not have learned beforehand, right? That you may not have known. Because even though your book is in editing, now you still have to go sell it. And that takes a different level of courage. It takes a different skill set. It takes a different strategy. Now you have to start marketing yourself. And so if that's not something that you know how to do, then I would definitely say yes. Okay. Because we can have books, but my thing is, if you have a book, are you making money with the book? And if you're not making money with the book, like Violet, your book is already in editing. Have you started pre-orders yet? If you haven't, you're leaving a lot of opportunity, a lot of time and income on the table. And so I would say that the program likely would be beneficial for you. And you have to think about it like this. You sell 50 books at $20, you made a full return on your investment. 50 books isn't a lot of books. You just heard from Jennifer. Her first bulk order was 100 books. She made $2,000 in her first bulk order just off of book sales, without having to leave her house, without having to do any extra work, without anything. She made $2,000 just off of book sales from her first. That was one bulk order. I want to bring this into context because she's going to continue to get more bulk orders. We have someone you're going to have an opportunity to hear from him tomorrow. Right now, he's in talks with different colleges and universities, and every college and university that he's talking to wants anywhere from 1,000 books to 5,000 books. I want you to start thinking about this. Like 1,000 books in one order at $20 a piece or $15 a piece if you use a sliding scale based on the number of books that an organization orders. Like, I want you to think about that. I really want us to think about it. So 1,000 books at $20 a book, you make $20,000 just off of book sales. This is why it's important to know who you're talking to. So you can take advantage of, so you can position yourself to get opportunities like this. That's $20,000 just off of the book. That's not including training. That's not including consulting or anything. And I really want this to, and you have an opportunity to hear from him tomorrow. I want you all to think about this. And so if these are things that you haven't done, you haven't positioned yourself to do, then you need to come to the academy so you can have guidance throughout the process, so that you can have community, so you're not doing this thing alone, so you can have some people that you can ask questions to and get your questions answered, and so that you can have assistance and strategy for not just editing the book, but actually turning the book into something else. And the question is, like I said, at the price that we're the 50% off, we're practically giving it away because you go sell 50 books and you've made that back. And everything after that is pure profit. As long as you continue to do the work of putting your book out there. Does this make sense? Like, it's honestly, it's a no-brainer. It really, truly is a no-brainer. Because if you're telling me I could just go sell 50 books and get a full return on my investment, why not? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? All right. So you can go to www.publishedandpaidacademy.com. And what we're talking about the possibilities. Because, of course, when you're just writing your book, for some of you all, you'll be able to start monetizing. For many of you all, it might take a few months. And I want to be very clear about that. And I want to be very upfront and honest about it. This is something that you're going to have to see through. You're going to have to commit to the process. You have to go through it. So I don't want you coming in thinking, oh, I'm going to start making money tomorrow. And you still have to niche your topic down. You still have to get clarity on your ideal client. You understand what I'm saying? It is a process. But if you commit to the process, you can get an ROI very quickly once you put your book out there. All right. So I want to be very clear about that. I don't want to make it seem like this is something where you're going to come in and then tomorrow you're going to immediately start seeing a financial ROI. You'll see an intellectual and knowledge ROI immediately. Okay. Immediately. But if you have to build an audience, you got to know that there's work involved in that, but you have the strategies and the support to do that, as opposed to trying to figure it out on your own. And I think that this is a space where a lot of coaches begin to, they're not transparent with it. They don't talk about the work that's involved. What did Jennifer say? She said that there was some moments in there where she became frustrated, but she didn't quit. She didn't quit. And now she's reaping the rewards of her persistence and her consistency. She's making probably almost more in her coaching business at this time than she, is on her job when she's launching. Her book was released in July 2021. It's 2022 now, a year and a half later, 18 months later. She just had a $15,000 launch. She's made $15,000 in book sales. She's selling bulk orders of books and getting bought in to speak and do the things. So, you know what I'm saying? But she had an initial investment. She continued to work with us in some of our higher level consulting programs. And what we were charging in a year, she's making in a month. On Violet, no, this price will expire tomorrow. So the cart closes tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. It closes tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So you have until tomorrow night to come in at $97. After tomorrow, that price goes away. I think that I shared with you all. If you go into my store on my website, if you go to jasminewomack.com/store, the price there is $19.97, pay in full. There's not even a flex payment option. But because you're here, you get the holiday offer. Because you're with me live, you get the holiday offer, but it is for a limited time. And it will never be this price ever again. All right. So we definitely hope to see you inside www.publishedandpaidacademy.com. All right. Tomorrow is our finale. So tomorrow is our bonus session 7. And that's where we're going to talk about how to make $10,000 or more from your book. I'm going to be sharing with you a strategy that I use in my book launch to make around $45,000 to $50,000 in 30 days from my book launch. And then I'm going to bring on another special guest who's going to share with you some ways that he's monetizing the book that he wrote as well. So make sure that when the link goes out for session 7, you go ahead and register for it. We're going to close strong. And those of you all who join us in the academy will get access to all of this goodness that you're getting. All right. I will see you all very soon. You guys have a great rest of your night and happy holidays to everyone who celebrates.
Recording stop.